Welcome, Denise Arola with the Office for Education Policy. I have a short video here on understanding growth of the lowest 25% of students in a school. This is part of the Arkansas indicators in the accountability framework, so I want to answer a few questions and just do a quick review and link you to some resources. There's a rationale for having an indicator that focuses on the lowest 25% of students based on their achievement. Right now we have achievement in the new accountability formula that focuses on the percent of students proficient or advanced. So there needs to be something that incentivizes the movement of the students who are at the very bottom. The value-added growth that we use for this indicator protects against harmful strategies such as focusing on just the bubble students, the kids who are closest to proficient. And the reason for that is that growth of all students focuses on all students making expected progress, regardless of where they fall. So you've got an indicator that looks at all of your students, and then the growth of the lowest 25% of students in achievement encourages schools to support students furthest from proficiency to make progress toward proficiency. This is coherent with existing multi-tiered systems of support and school-based systems for intervention. The biggest question we've gotten is, who are these lowest quartile students, the lowest 25%? So they're the lowest 25% of students within the school, and they are going to be students in grades 3 through 10 ELA and grades 3 through 8 math and science. And for those students, we're going to base the lowest quartile on their prior year achievement. So for 2025, we looked at the 2024 achievement of students and ranked them highest to lowest on the scale score. And based on that, took the bottom 25% with ties going to the lowest part, so we didn't miss anybody. It's based on the prior year achievement, but we actually measure growth. And the reason we measure growth is because growth is agnostic to the prior year achievement. So however those students came to you, whether they're lower achieving or higher achieving, whoever's in your bottom quartile, growth controls for where they start. So you have an opportunity to impact them through growth by helping them to make progress along the continuum. So most of these students and most of the schools are below proficient students, but some are not. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. The EOCs are a little trickier. Biology, if a student is taking it in 9th grade, then their prior year achievement comes from their 8th grade science score. But if a student takes biology in 10th grade, there's actually a skip year there. We have to go back to their grade 8 score to get that information. So we will not go more than one skip year because growth with more than one skip year is really noisy and not precise, and that wouldn't be fair to use it. So only one skip year is allowed for biology. That means grades 11 and 12 biology students. There's no growth score, therefore they're not in the bottom quartile for the school. And then the lowest only one skip year is allowed for algebra. So if a student takes math in grade 8, but doesn't take algebra until grade 10, we can still do a growth score. But if the student, for some reason, doesn't take it until 11th grade, there won't be a growth score for that student because it's 2 years skipped in terms of their math. So that's important to keep in mind. The lowest 25%, or that bottom quartile, is calculated within your school by grade and then by subject or EOC. So if you're wondering, for example, you have 7th grade algebra students, the lowest quartile would be among those 7th grade algebra students. So you would go back to their 6th grade math, you'd figure out among the students who have a prior achievement score from 6th grade, what's the lowest 25%, and those students become part of your bottom quartile. A really important fact to keep in mind is that the lowest 25% does not equal level 1 students. Level 1 is not necessarily related to the lowest 25%. It can differ because the way scores are distributed by schools can differ. And let me show you. I have 3 charts here. Each of these charts illustrates different school distributions. So student scores are spread out between the bottom of the scale, 1,000, and the top of the scale, 1120. And in school A, you can see that most of the students are scoring in this lowest level. They're actually level 1 students. And you can see very few students are making it into those higher levels. On the other hand, school B is a little bit more spread out. It's not skewed in one direction or the other. So the students who are in the lowest quartile are going to be across a wider range of scores, as you can see by this purple area that's been highlighted. And this is like a moderately performing school. And then here on the very bottom, we have a really high performing school. So the majority of these students are above the proficient mark here, level 3, and their bottom quartile is likely to be a mix of level 1, 2, and 3, and maybe even 4 students. I've tried to put in an extreme example in case that really happened. This may not really exist in reality, but I wanted you all to see that the schools differ in how their student scores are spread. So the scores and the performance levels of your students and what scale score is at that 25th cut point is going to differ from, say, another school's if your scores are spread differently. When I stack these plots on top of each other, you get a better sense of how the spread of scores in a school impacts who is in that bottom 25%. So you can see school A again, the spread of scores is it's really down near the bottom of the scale. And so you will get to the bottom 25 or the lowest 25% of students at a pretty low scale score. Whereas in school B, you can see that the spread of the scores in the lowest 25 is a little bit more. These students are scoring anywhere from 1,000 to 1,050. And then in school C, again, you can see that they could start at 1,000 and go all the way to 1,070 plus. So it's really important to think about how your school scores are spread. And it could even differ by subject and grade level. And that's why it's so important that we identify by subject and grade level within your school. So keep that in mind. There are a few more details I want to talk about. One is that in 2025, we did not have the 24 summative scores for students in grade 2. So our grade 3 students who are in the accountability model didn't have a lowest 25%. Beginning with this school year, 25-26, we are going to be able to reach back to the 2025 K2 summative, actually just grade 2, and we're going to be able to count those students in the lowest quartile, which is really good because those students, typically grade 3, can show a lot of growth. And so that's going to be helpful to schools for the most part, depending on how you do with them. Students who enroll from October 1, after October 1, or move out of your school between October 1 and summative testing, these are considered mobile students. They will not be counted for accountability, but they will be identified in the portal. What I've shared here is a website that will give you more details. This is the school letter grade website, and I've in green highlighted the tabs. There is a tab here that is an overview. There's a tab for business rules. And if you need additional training and support, there's some great stuff inside the training and support tab. So don't hesitate. You can click on this picture in the slides and it will take you to the school letter grade web page. I want to highlight a few additional resources from DESE. Now, these are going to be actually in the assessment portal, and they're going to be under Arkansas's Live Binder. And I've linked directly to a demo that it's a video that tells you how to access your bottom quartile in the Atlas portal, because that's where this information lives. And the demo takes you through how to do it for all students in a grade, how to roster students and figure it out with the roster, etc. So this is an excellent resource for understanding how to go and find those students for your 2025-26 school year. The one that isn't available yet is biology, 10th grade biology to 8th grade science, and that's because that has to be built with a special set of rules, and they weren't able to get that in place. So if you are looking for your grade 10 biology students who are in the lowest quartile, you will have to go back to their 2024 scores, download those scores, and then sort and rank them from there. So that's one piece that's missing, but it will be, it's under development for next year. On that landing page for the different modules, there are videos within the modules themselves. So when you select a module, you get access to several topical videos. I found the video about the bottom quartile under section 3. So there are things like interim versus summative data. How do you interpret that? What are performance level descriptors versus the ALDs, the achievement level descriptors? There's a video on how do you target specific standards. These are all very helpful videos that DESE has put out to, and they're short. That's what I like about them. They're shorter than I seem to be able to make videos, but I'm working on myself. And once you open any of those links, at the very top of the web page is all the options for the ADE DESE Live Binder for assessment. Well, it's a wealth of information. You can click on the link to the table of contents to see what's there. If you're a district test coordinator, you probably know all about this. But if you're a teacher, there are resources here that you may not be aware of that might be incredibly helpful to you. So I encourage you to visit and scroll through. Stay tuned. We're trying to put out videos that answer your questions or cover topics that you've requested. You can email us at oep@uark.edu. We might put together a quick video based on your suggestions. If you're wanting additional help for anything, we work with schools, we work with districts. We will come to you personally or Zoom with you if you have more specific questions just specific to your school. So contact us. We are happy to help, and stay tuned. We'll see what the next video will hold.